namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udire nashta prayeshu abhatreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Hare Krishna. So we'll first offer our obeisances to the Shad Goswamis who have given us this whole knowledge. Nana Shastra Vichanika Nipanau Sadharma Sanstapakau Lokanam Hitkarinau Tripuvane Manyo Sharanyakarau Radha Krishna Padarvinda Bhajnanandena Mattalikau Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau. So, Nectar of you devote instructions, that is Updeshamrut, which is helping us to move from Shraddha to the Prema. So, little faith, then Sadhu Sangha, then Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, and Prema. So, this is how these 11 shlokas have been helping us, and that we have summarized already. Shraddha would be understood from the first 3 shlokas, Sadhu Sangha from the next 3 shlokas, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishta, and Ruchi from the 7th shloka, Asakti from the 8th shloka, and the last 3 shloka will help us in understanding Bhava and Prem and the importance or the glories of the residence in Radha Krishna Loka. So Shlok 1 which we have understood is Vacho Vegam, Manasaha, Krodha Vegam, Jivva Vegam, Udaropastha Vegam, Etan Vegam, Anyaha, Visheta Dhiraha, Sarvam Apimam Prithvim Shishyata. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So what we understand here is from the examples given by Maharaj Parikshit, especially his instructions on atonement, wherein we saw the analogies, how atonement that we talk about currently about elephant bath, the thief and the police example, or the confessions which people do generally every week. So all these are not actual atonements. The actual atonement or the real atonement is awakening the dormant Krishna consciousness, which is tapasya. So that actually means training according to the regulative principles and methodical life. So there are 2 methods: the traditional tapasya method, which involves celibacy, austerity, truthfulness, renunciation, yogasanas, mind and sense control, and cleanliness. And the Pancharatrik tapasya, which is the Rupa Goswami's method, wherein we practice bhakti under the guidance of Guru and in association of devotees, and we practice certain rules, especially the 4 regulative principles. So this shloka made us understand, as per the Srila Prabhupada's purport, about Vachaha, that is karmis and dhanis. We saw the problem. The example was snake and the toad, and the solution was that we should have Krishna Katha and cannot remain silent. Manasaha, or the mind, the problem is it cannot be in acume, it attracts anarthas. So the solution is to meditate on the lotus feet of Krishna. So the example was Sun and Krishna. Krodh, or the anger, the problem is it cannot be stopped. The solution is that we apply it against blasphemers, and we saw the examples of Jagai, Madai, Hanumanji, and Arjuna. Jivva, the problem is we are forced to eat in karmi shops. The solution is that we take only prasad. We should be grateful when Krishna supplies it, accept it as mercy, and take it on scheduled times only. And Udarapastha, we should avoid unnecessary sex, and it should be utilized only for Krishna consciousness. According to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there are 3 kinds of urges: those of the speech, mind, and the body. For the speech, the problem was definitely prajalpa. So there we saw the examples of karmis, jnanis, karmakandis. The solution was Hari Katha. Mind, it can be involved into avirodh priti or virodh yukta krodha. So basically it is unrestricted attachment and anger due to frustration. The solution is to keep it meditating on Krishna. The body urges are of tongue, belly, and genitals. The tongue, we saw the problem because tongue is most important. So that is why we see even our prayers, the prasad prayers or the Chaitanya Charitamrita examples. The tongue is asking for 6 types of demands: the tama, the raja, sattva, mahatama, prasad. And even in prasad, it wants more of prasad. So these are all the 6 types of demands. The solution is we have to control it. The belly, it is a problem. It's a stomach disease. Solution is that we should maintain the fast that come on the different festivals and Ekadashi Vrata. For genitals, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has explained about the 5 types, illegal types. So even thinking, planning, talking, doing, and artificial means are all the illegal means which are to be avoided. The legal is only marriage, and that too only for Krishna conscious kids. So the conclusion was that we can serve only one master. If we serve the senses, then we become Godas or Adanta Go, servant of senses. If we serve Krishna, we become Goswami, control of the senses. So Krishna consciousness is the best solution to control the 6 urges. Then we came to the second shloka. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpaha niyam agraha janasangascha laulyam cha shadbir bhakti vinashyati. So this shloka is making us understand what are those aspects which is going to destroy our devotional service. So the translation reads, once devotional service is spoiled, when it becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required, or endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically, associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness and being greedy for mundane achievements. So the whole second shloka that we talked last week was focusing about the 6 activities to avoid, the benefits that we'll get by avoiding them, and the losses which we suffer if we don't avoid them. Coming to Atyahara, so it is basically 3 kinds. In religion, it is using dharma for the sake of material prosperity instead of the ultimate emancipation. In philosophy, as per Sri Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it could be writing lots of volumes of books on economic development, or like Dan is endeavoring mental speculation and dry philosophy. And in welfare work, it could be like capitalists or even communists, wherein we saw the example of the $100 bill. The practical actual aspect to avoid Atyahara is recognize the proprietorship of Lord, Ishavasim Idam Sarvan. So since everything is complete and the material world is an arrangement of Lord, everyone's needs are fulfilled. So we need not encroach upon the other's quota. So human life is very, very important. It is given for plain living and high thinking. So God's natural arrangement that we should have simple living with some land and a milk cow. That is the solution for all economic problems. We need not travel or migrate from one place to another. And the higher intelligence that we have is basically to cultivate Krishna consciousness, understand Krishna, understand our relationship with him, and the ultimate goal, which is Krishna Prem. So Prayashaha, we saw that it is basically endeavor, misuse of the intelligence, leading to over-endeavoring. So we are rejecting simple living, we are rejecting high thinking, because we consider it as a primitive way of life. So there is production of unwanted and unnecessary things like factories, slaughterhouses, brothels, I'll say 5G, 6G, 7G. So all these are unnecessary examples and problems due to over-endeavor. The biggest result of that problem is that we have less time for inquiry. So solution is that we should inquire into absolute truth and reduce the endeavor for artificial needs. Kamasya nendriya pritilabha jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jidnyasa narthaya cha iha karmavihi. Life's desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life of self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's life. So if our endeavor is not to inquire about truth, we'll simply increase our endeavor to satisfy artificial needs, while a spiritual aspirant should avoid the mundane endeavor. Prajalpa is basically when we mix with few friends, we immediately begin talking unnecessarily, like the of the toads. So just like the toad keeps on croaking and inviting snake, similarly we keep on talking and inviting that. Even reading newspapers, magazines, novels, spending time in crossword puzzles, the idiot box, or even the screen time, they are all wastage of time. They are all prajalpa. The solution is we should not waste valuable time and energy and instead concentrate about talking about Krishna conscious subjects. So Janasangha refers to the association with persons not interested in Krishna consciousness. So we have seen that we have to avoid associating with those not interested in Krishna consciousness. So it could be even Bhukti Kamis or the Siddhi Kamis. We have to associate and serve with the devotees. Bhakti Sane Vasaha is what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakurji has mentioned. So where we can do it? Through ISKCON. And the best thing is that it is going to awaken our dormant Krishna consciousness. Niyamagraha, so we saw Agraha, meaning eagerness to accept, and Agraha means failure to accept, and Niyam is rules and regulations. So failure to accept rules and regulations or eagerness to accept something, for economic benefit, both fall under niyamagraha. Then greed, the laulyam part. So our desire to expand the mind by perfecting mystic yoga, or even desire to merge into existence of Brahman or attain material prosperity, are all under the category of laulya. So all such attempts are impediments on the path of Krishna consciousness. So they could be bhukti, mukti, or siddhi, and they will be stopping us from advancement. So we need to avoid them. Now, if you don't give up these 6 things, what it results in, we lose the essence of human life. And that essence is plain living high thinking. And we come under the Bahiranga Shakti and suffer threefold miseries and repeated birth, old age, disease, and death. So these are the losses that we get by not giving up these 6 things. And what do we get if we give up these 6 things? We establish an ideal society, we destroy any kind of enmity or hatred, remove economic maladjustments, solve economic maladjustments, instability is solved, and spiritual community is established. So this is the complete summarization of what we saw in the second shloka last week, which we have covered already in the individual slides. So cause of spiritual awakening is important, and that is where ISKCON comes into picture, because it is providing education as well as training. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamcham Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagan Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamcham Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So now we move to the third shloka in the series of Updeshamrut. Utsahan nischayat dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyaga sato vritte shadvir bhakti prasiddhati. So in the previous shloka we saw the 6 things which are not good for Krishna consciousness. And this shloka is making us understand what are the good things. So the translation reads, there are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. Being enthusiastic. 2, endeavoring with confidence. 3, being patient. 4, acting according to regulative principles such as sravanam, kirtanam, visnoù, smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. 5, abandoning the association of non-devotees. And 6, following in the footsteps of the previous ācāryas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Utsahat nishchayat dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyaga sato vrittohe shadvir bhakti prasiddhati. Each word in itself is explanatory, and we can keep on discussing on it, because so much has been written by our ācāryas in the Guru Parampara. Utsahat, which is enthusiasm. Nishchayat, confidence. Dhairyat, patience. Tat karma, various activities. So now here tat karma, these activities are those activities which are favorable for devotional service. Pravartanat, by performing. And how? Sangatyaga, tyaga, by giving up the association of non-devotees. Satah, of the great ācāryas, vrittehe, following in the footsteps of the great ācāryas. Shadbhi, 6, bhakti, devotional service prasiddhyate, advances or becomes successful. Utsahan nishchayat dhairyat tat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vritte shadvir bhakti prasiddhyati. So this shloka is very important and we'll be spending a lot of time on this shloka. So this is how we are going to be covering it. Basically, it's going to make us understand about ABCD, attitude, behavior, character, and direction. So we'll talk about the impetus for bhakti and the favorable conditions about bhakti. So in impetus for bhakti, we'll talk about what is not bhakti, what is bhakti, how to perform bhakti, why to perform bhakti, who can perform bhakti and where to perform bhakti. And then among favorable conditions, this shloka is going to make us understand. We will be talking about utsahan, why, that is for success in any field, or nishchayat, that so there we'll discuss what is no confidence or what is confidence, dhairyat, so how to take instructions from guru, how to execute devotional service, have dependence, tat karma, so the do's as well as the don'ts, sangatyagat, so whom to avoid and whom not to avoid, and sato vrittihi. So what are those sato vritti, or what are those things which should be done? So this is how we are planning to discuss this whole thing. So if you read the purport, there are different paragraphs, and most of the time it's spread out everywhere. So what I have tried to do is I've tried to concise it and summarize it, and as per the instructions or the previous lectures given by others in the parampara, I have simply narrating it as it is, because that is most important. So let us start the discussions. So there are 6 principles which are preferable for the pure devotional service, because that is the objective of this particular shloka. So those 6 things, let us have a summarization once again. One is to be enthusiastic. Second is to endeavor with confidence. 3 is to be patient. 4, acting according to the regulative principles such as shravanam, kirtanam, visnoù, smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. 6, abandoning the association of non-devotees. And 6, following the footsteps of the previous ācāryas. So if you follow these 6 principles, then there is complete success of pure devotional service, which is assured. And that is why this shloka is important. And the whole foundation of the concept of bhakti is understood on this particular shloka. So what does this particular shloka make us understand is what is not bhakti, what is bhakti, how to perform bhakti, why to perform bhakti, who can perform bhakti, and where can we perform bhakti. Now, if you are going to anyone and talking to anyone, because finally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has ordered us, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna Upadesh. So immediately we start getting these questions. These 6 questions actually. What is bhakti? So what I am doing, is it not bhakti? Oh, so you mean to say only what you do is bhakti. So how do you do it? Why do you do it? Can I also do it? And where can I do it? Now these are those 6 questions which are the foundation for any devotional service. And this is exactly what we are understanding if we go through the purport of Srila Prabhupada on this particular shloka in Sri Updeshamrut, that is Nectar of Instructions. So let us understand first of all what is not bhakti. See, understanding what is something is easy when you know what is not that. So anything and everything that is not there, you understood. So what is not there and is there is bhakti. So it's just like Maya. So we know Maya. Maya is illusion. What is not is Maya. So it's just like we see the old what I say descriptions given about India as a land of snake charmers. So there we see someone is having a rope in his hand, and all of a sudden it turns into a snake. So it's not a snake, it's still a rope, but then the illusion is created. So similarly, we are into illusion always, and that illusion results into us in considering what is not bhakti or devotional service as bhakti. So when we talk about bhakti to anyone, they say, oh, we are very, very, very religious. We do a lot of bhakti. How do you do it? I every day go to Hanumanji's temple and I do a deal with Hanumanji. What? Yes. Because I know Hanumanji is not going to compete with me for that girl. So I tell him, yeah, Bhagwan, you please let that girl be happy with you. Of all the gods, just think, whom do is he approaching? A brahmachari. Because no fear of competition. So we call that as bhakti. Or once a week I visit and I offer oil. That is bhakti. But no, they are religious activities, actions. They are not. Because bhakti is not a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. Neither is it idle meditation. So you see nowadays people saying, I am concentrating every day X number of time on something which is not there. Idle meditation. But our scriptures make it very, very that it is not. Idle meditation is not meant for those without information of devotional service. Because that is not possible. The mind is very, very fast. It moves. It's chanchal. So that is not bhakti at all. Even if we indulge in meditation, the only benefit that we can get is it checks distracting materialistic activities and nothing else. So nothing of this actually is a bhakti. So then what is bhakti? So bhakti is a process which refers to cultivation and practical activity. So cultivation and practical activity. It does not end only nonsensical mundane activities, but also engages one in meaningful devotional activities. And this we have seen when we studied Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sri Rupa Goswami ji has given us such a nice definition of bhakti. Anyabhilashita shunyam dhyana karmadi anavritam anukullena Krishna anushilanam bhaktiruttama. So, bhakti or the Uttama bhakti, the unalloyed devotion into the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. What does it do? It involves rendering devotional service in such a way that it is favorable to the Lord. Krishna anushilanam. And this should be free from any extraneous motive. Anya bilashita shunyam dhyana karmadi anavritam. So nothing. And it should be devoid of even fruitive karma, impersonal jnana, or selfish desires. That is bhakti. So when you're going to temple, so that not that you ask, oh Jagannath ji, let this happen to me. But to tell Jagannath ji, I have come, please see me. That is bhakti. Not to do a deal. Throughout the year, throughout the half year, term, we will not study. And one day prior to exam, we are praying, Jagannath ji, kuch bhi kar lo, please save me this time, please. You are saved. And next term, same thing is repeated. What is the use? That is not bhakti. The bhakti has to be unalloyed. It should be devoid of fruitive karma or any selfish desires. That is the definition of. So when you're doing something like this and engaging in meaningful activity, which is required by law, so cleaning of the temple, deity dressing, deity worship, preparing bhoga for the deities, offering bhoga to the deities, making jewelry for them, doing katha, doing kirtan, do book distribution, reading books for those who cannot read, making everyone aware about Krishna. They're all meaningful activities. So engagement in these activities is good. So how do we do it then? So then that also was responded already. This is something which is recommended by Prahlad Maharaj himself. The 9 methods. Hearing the name and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shravanam, kirtanam, that is chanting his glories. Viṣṇoḥ, smaranam, remembering the Lord. Part007, serving the Lord's devotees. Worshipping the deity. Offering obeisances unto the Lord. Acting as Lord's sravanam, dasyam. Sakhyam, making friends with the Lord. And sharanagati, fully surrendered unto the Lord. So any one of these 9 or a combination of any of these 9 or all 9. So we saw the examples also. The examples of those great devotees who have exemplified these 9 practices by their actual implementation. And that is how the bhakti has to be performed. And the best important part of that bhakti is shravanam. Because it is the first of the 9 principles. The first step in acquiring any transcendental knowledge. But then that knowledge can be obtained only when we hear from authorized sources. From sources who are coming directly in the parampara. From those who know the truth. Tadviddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadyakshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. This is what Krishna has explained in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 34th shloka. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So, shravanam, but shravanam of the knowledge from one who has realized it. Not shravanam of the movie songs or the music albums or the news. That is not the right shravanam. The right shravanam is learning about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, hearing what Krishna has said. That is shravanam. And that can be best achieved when we approach a guru, an authorized guru. So this is repeatedly being emphasized and explained to almost all the scriptures. And this shloka from Bhagavad Gita is one of the best examples for it. That viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadyakshanti te jnanam jnanina tattvadarshina. Even in Munduka Upanishad, if we see, there also we see this shloka. Tad vijnanartham sah gurum abhigacchetaha. Eva abhigacchetaha. Pariksha lokan karma chintam brahmano nirdayam anasatya krutah kruten tad vijnanartham sah gurum eva abhigacchet samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. Very clearly it is explained. Let a Brahmin, having examined the words produced by karma, be free from desires, thinking there is nothing eternal produced by karma. And in order to acquire the knowledge of the eternal, let him samid, that is sacrificial fuel in hand, approach a guru alone who is versed in the Vedas and centered in the Brahman. Brahmanishtam shrotriyam. So many examples we will get in scriptures. Hearing is very, very important. And we are lucky that though this is Kali Yuga, the chances of hearing are more. Because we need not sit in front of a guru now and wait for the guru to speak. There are so many recorded lectures available. So many recorded kirtanas available. We just have to start them, listen to them, and let there be a cheto darpana marjan. So simple. The first step is now the most simple step, which helps us in going towards bhakti. Bhakti, which is very rare. Because the question comes, why should I do bhakti? I don't want. I am very happy. No. Bhakti is important. Why is it important? Because it is very rare. Not everyone gets it. It is blissful and it is liberating. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. So according to the karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary systems, and some are going into the lower planetary systems. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of both Krishna and the spiritual master, such a person receives the shade of the creeper of devotional service. Just think. Out of millions, one gets this chance. And so it is said to be very rare. And though it is rare, it is very blissful. Because finally, it makes us understand Krishna, who is Satchidananda Vigraha. Ananda. And which kind of Ananda? Satchit Ananda, eternal. So he's a reservoir of bliss. When we achieve this bhakti to him, we also get that bliss. That is why bhakti is blissful. And it liberates us from the repeated cycles of birth, old age, disease, and death. Liberates us from the clutches of Maya. Makes us go backward. And hence, it is important that we perform bhakti. Next question which we get is, who can perform? Anyone. The answer is anyone who is sincere. It is not that you need to be born in a Brahmina family to perform a bhakti. No. Even a Shudra, by pure devotional service, can become a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava who is bigger than a Brahmana. And a Brahmina born person who is not following regulative principles can be a Shudra. So just sincere desire to do bhakti and to actually keep on doing it in spite of impediments which come. So that sincerity, whoever is having, he can practice bhakti. So that is important. Oh, is it that? Okay, I'll do it. But where do I do it? Because everyone we see in this world nowadays is into materialism, either communism or capitalism, but finally materialism and leading to death. So how do I do bhakti now? Because it is very easy for a good apple as well, a mango as well, to get ripened and stale if it is in a basket where you have these stale fruits. So if we are going to be in association with all these people, how can we remain in bhakti? So the answer to the next question, where to do it, is very simple. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness is offering the appropriate setup. What kind of appropriate setup? We are having these Bhakti Yoga clubs in small communities supported by community temples, and then the larger temples, the city temples. So everyone is coming together, doing that chanting, taking only Krishna Prasad. In fact, the next shloka, how we associate with the devotees, that will explain this further. Serving the deities, discussing about Krishna, helping each other, stay motivated and continue in spite of the impediments. A very ideal setup. So that is the right place to do. So let us summarize what we have covered till now, and then we'll stop for the day. So what we have seen is the 6 favorable principles, that is utsahat, by enthusiasm, nishchayat, by confidence, dhairyat, by patience, tat karma, various activities favorable for devotional service, pravartanat, by performing, sangatyagat, by giving up the association of non-devotees, sattaha, of the great previous ācāryas, vritteh, by following in the footsteps. By these 6 shadbihi, bhakti, devotional service is prasiddhyati, advances or becomes successful. So these words indicate the 6 favorable activities. That is, we have to be enthusiastic, we have to endeavor with confidence, we have to be patient, we have to act according to the regulative principles such as sravanam, kirtanam, visnoù, smaranam. We have to abandon the association of non-devotees, and we have to follow in the footsteps of the previous ācāryas. So if we are able to follow them, then we are able to do our bhakti successfully. And all these 6 can be further distributed into ABCD. So A stands for attitude, B stands for behavior, C for character, and D for direction. So we'll discuss about this further tomorrow. So we're requesting you to join. Tomorrow we'll start little early because today we lost a lot of time because of connectivity issues. So thank you very much. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. If anyone has any questions, you can ask them, or we'll stop here for the day if there are no questions. Hare Krishna.